order. If anybody has a question to ask during the meeting, please raise your hand and I will get to you once we're done the process of asking our board members, okay? And if you do raise your hand, I will get to you. You will have to give your name and address so it can be added to our minutes of the meeting, okay? Thank you. So any declaration of the pecuniary interest? No? Okay.
It is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the agenda for the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on October the 10th, 2023 be adopted as presented.
Everybody in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes.
It is moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Jonathan Sanford. Be it resolved that the minutes of the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting held on September the 12th, 2023 be adopted as presented.
Everybody had a chance to read them. Everything's okay? All right. I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. All right. We're starting our applications. So application C 5523, Sturgeon Brush and Contracting.
That's for the resolution reads as follows, that a consent I guess I should have a mover and seconder.
Yeah.
Other than Campbell. It is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Sturgeon Falls Brush and Contracting Limited for the creation of a new lot on Landfill Site Road in the municipality of West Nipissing be approved on the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office and a copy of the new survey filed with the municipality. That all property taxes be paid to date. That conditions be met on or before October 11, 2025. That a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer. And that the owner shall, prior to the granting of provisional consent, provide written acknowledgement as to the following. That landfill site is not maintained by the municipality of West Nipissing, that the West Nipissing municipality makes no representation or warranties as to the condition of the road or whether it will be suitable for the proposed use of the severed lands, that landfill site road may require upgrades in order to accommodate the proposed uses, the cost and extent of which are unknown, that the owners may be responsible for any geotechnical or other investigations or construction required in order to upgrade the road to the standard required, that the owners will be responsible for the cost of the relocation of the existing gate from its current location to the north of the proposed entrance to the severed lands, that the owners will be responsible for obtaining an entrance permit from Landfill Site Road, and that the owners will provide drainage plan of the property, which plan shall ensure that the property will drain to Landfill Site Road. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is and I will pull up the presentation in a minute because I forgot to load it. This property is located on the northwest side of Landfill Site Road. So it would be, if you're going to the landfill, it would be up on your left-hand side. So you'll see there's a lot of construction and whatnot going on, so it's past that. The property is being severed for the establishment of a new company that will manufacture prefabricated homes in co-location with the existing owners of the property, where the raw materials for this manufacturing will be processed. So it's a good co-location. However, the Landfill Site Road is a bit of a strange cat in that it's not maintained by the municipality. It is actually privately maintained by West Nipissing Environmental Services, which is our landfill company. So we've met with the company and they are aware of the status and have actually provided us with written acknowledgement as to the conditions being imposed on this severance. So aside from what I've read, and like I said, the owners are familiar with the lot has got all of the required size and lot area required. There was correspondence in your package from the minister. They have been pre-consulted on this application. The actual severance is outside of their permitting area. However, the entrance is off of Landfill Site Road, and there's been extensive conversation between the proponents and MTO with regard to the development on the balance of the severed lands. So basically, that is my spiel.
Okay. Do we have um, the representative of the,
The owners of the representatives of both Sturgeon Falls Brush and Contracting as well as Maison Boreal are with us tonight. If anybody has any questions that they'd like to direct.
okay. Do we have any questions from
I don't.
our board members? No? Okay. Do we have any questions from the public? No? Okay. So, but obviously, you understand that you have to, they'll be subject to all these requirements, right? Because your access to and from the property is on a driveway and not a municipal road. So whatever will the municipality come up with these?
Actually, Mr. Chair, the consultants for the proponents are actually, because there's a larger development going on, they will be in, because they also have need of use of this road for the balance of the development, they have retained consultants to carry out investigations to determine what the road, what it is and what it would need to accommodate the proposed uses, not just the one that we're looking at tonight, but other developed portions of this proposed development, which will be phased out over a number of years. But they will be looking at the overall project and looking at the road as part of the infrastructure and making recommendations as to what needs to happen.
Okay, so the company is aware of all the, okay, and you're willing to live with whatever the municipality will come up as, or try to find a solution for everybody to be happy?
Yep.
Okay, so it's the same on the municipal side. You'll have to, I guess it'll be a time thing also here, right? To get all the parties involved.
And they have, Sturgeon Brush has a consultant who has been diligently working on everything. And I think he was 25 when he started and now he's 85.
Yeah.
We've had all of the members of the municipality, we've been working diligently with them and the
Okay.
consultants throughout the whole process.
So tonight, all we're looking at is the severing that property off from the main parcel.
That's correct.
All right. So hearing no objections, I'll bring it to a vote. Is everybody in favor of the severance from? Okay, carried. That's
You're
it.
good to go.
Thank you very much. It's worth the wait.
And sorry for the mix-up on the agenda time. I really apologize. I hope they're going to take you for supper now.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
We'll move to application C56-23, Clarence Brubaker.
I'm just going to pull up my meeting presentation, which I want to grab. Okay. 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 It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson that the consent application made by Clarence Brubaker for the creation of a new lot at 234 East Road in the West Nipissing Municipality be approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, that taxes be paid to date, that conditions be met on or before October 11th, 2025, that a transfer deed be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer. In the event that any portion of the municipally maintained and traveled road located on the property that 10 meters from center line of the maintained and traveled roadway, including the retained land, shall be surveyed at the owner's cost and transferred to the municipality, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to Section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drainage maintenance among the parts into which the lands are being divided. For the back drain, which is a municipal drain, which I will answer questions when we get there in a second. So I'm just going to get to this application so I can. Just. Okay, here we are. Okay. Okay, so this property, for information, members, property is located on East Road. You'll see that the highway is just out here, Highway 64 is just out here, so it's just coming in. The property has frontage on Mercer Lake. And what is being proposed is to sever a lot. And of course, my eyesight is going. Can't see the size of it. It's big.
It doesn't say the size.
It's actually it's on the application. This grab.
With frontage or?
The total area.
No, I was looking for the total lot area. I do have it on the application.
It's 1,033.
That's the depth. Okay, so the lot is 64 acres.
The severed lot?
Yes, and the retained land's 136 acres, plus or minus. Okay, so what is being proposed is to sever a lot, the access from which would be from the East Road, and it would go down and have frontage along Mercer Lake. Like I said, the property is quite large. There's two little lots. You'll see there's a wee little lot here in the corner that was severed out a million years ago, as was this one here. There were severances on the abutting property a number of years ago, and there is actually a road that comes down here, but that is a private road for these lots, which are down here. So the intention is to have access to this lot fully from East Road.
Okay.
But we did have in your package, we did have some conversations regarding, we did have one letter from Bonita Mercer, and it was included in your package. Did everybody have a chance to read Mrs. Mercer's? So I won't read it aloud. In addition, I believe that the rest of the comments were no issues from Public Works, the Building Department, or Hydro One. So. Did you want me to just summarize Mrs. Mercer's letter?
You can.
Okay.
Yours would prefer,
Yeah.
Okay, so the letter was, and just for reference sake, the owner of the author of the letter is the owner of the abutting lands on the east side. The concern is, I believe the concern is with respect to the lake. And there's a reference to a subdivision. Many years ago, there was a subdivision that was adopted quite a bit farther down the road, where it has lots on both the north and the south side of Mercer Lake, but it's a little ways down the road. You can actually see the lots, just the tops of them here.
Or on the other side of the
Yeah.
lake. Okay.
Yeah, but their access is actually from up here.
Okay.
Okay. So I do not have any objections to the farm being divided, but I have strong concerns about making a new waterfront lot from Mercer Lake to the East Road. Since the subdivision was passed, there's a lot less swimming and water activities on the lake. This spring, the lake had the worst sludge than we have ever seen in our shorelines. Another waterfront owner was contacting the MNR and MOE to do water samples, as this hasn't been done since the subdivision lots. I've had a survey with lot pegs ready to register for some time, but was told there would be no further development of the lake. As I said earlier, it is good for the family. Look, that's just comments regarding the family. So the objection which has been lodged, and the individual is here tonight, so if you have any questions, I'm sure she would be able to further elaborate on the concerns which have been raised.
So is Mrs. Mercer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have no objection. I mean, they do want to settle affairs. They don't want to interfere with the family wanting to settle affairs. Just concerns about it being a waterfront lot, because they would still have access to, like, they have a cabin on there now. And so, yeah, if they sell part, they want to have, they want to be able to have access to their cabin, which of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But that could be done without making a new waterfront lot, which Roger was at our house earlier this spring, and he was going to just make a division, because it's actually two farms, a front farm and a back farm. And he was thinking he would keep just the back farm, and, you know, and make a little, you know, a little sliver and he'd have access. It's just the creation of another waterfront lot and concerns about that.
Okay. But obviously, if there's any developments on it, they do have to go through the natural processes of either building departments and the North Bay Meadow Conservation Authority. So that would, you know, there's still more people that can, you know, oversee if there's a problem on the lake. Is there a max on the Lake Mercer now?
No, we have no data to indicate that Mercer Lake has any constraints on it.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yes, 8 years ago when the subdivision went in, there were samples done. I know on the other side of the lake, Matt Snyder is quite concerned. He wasn't able to be here. He's in Toronto and his wife has a very serious illness, but he's just concerned about the water quality.
And through you, Mr. Chair, there was at the time of the subdivision, to which Mrs. Mercer is referring, there was a capacity study undertaken by the proponents, and there was no concerns with respect to that subdivision at that time as to the capacity of the lake in terms of development. So there are no restrictions, and this is a very, very big lot. I can't, like, I'm not an expert, but I don't believe that a lot this size would pose a threat to the lake. Like,
No, I don't either, because just by looking at the lakefront would be, I believe, around over 100 meters. Because if the back is 91, that's bigger, so it's probably 100 to 110 meters, which is like 300 and some feet.
and obviously it's actually 347 meters.
At the lake?
Yeah.
Is there any requirement for another capacity study to be done if there is a development on that?
No, there was nothing, there was no indication in the study that was carried out that there would be like a finite, there was no finite numbers set on the lake at that time. Obviously, if anything, you know, very intensive were to come up, that would have to be revisited.
What prompted that study?
Concerns from adjacent landowners to the development.
These two cutouts that you said happened a million years ago, was that the same owner or?
I'd have to defer that question to the landowner. The little lots that are the little one at the bottom corner and the one at the top corner, were they severed out by your family or no, they were there?
No, that was severed out when the Mercers owned it. My husband's, there are 5 generations there. That was severed out. The little lot was severed out many, many, many years ago. Yes.
Okay.
And the one at the road?
Oh, that was done, yeah, when my husband is in his 60s, and that was done when he was just a boy.
They're both lots of record of long standing.
Okay.
It's just like you say, a concern because there's 2 property owners that contacted me. Like I say, certainly don't want to interfere with the family in any way, but there are concerns, and I just hope the municipality would bear that in mind when making lots. It's a very small lake, and it does run into the French River. So, you know, that's all just that the municipality would keep in mind about the development on the lake.
Well, we do have setbacks, specific
absolutely.
setbacks for waterfront
Absolutely.
development and you know, as the chair had indicated, the Conservation Authority does oversee the placement of the field bed to ensure that the effluent isn't flowing towards the lake and that sort of thing. So there are some safeguards to ensure that there shouldn't be any adverse effect on the lake.
Yeah, that's right. But what we're doing, okay, go ahead, sir.
I'm one of the Brewbakers, Roger and I, we're the sons of Clarence, we're the.
Okay.
Right?
Okay,
But the only reason, like Roger, he wants to just, to keep part of the farm in our name and eventually the rest of it will get sold, but as
okay,
far as the lake, like, I don't think can ever be developed because it needs to have road access, which there is none, right? That's why you wouldn't let Roger develop it before, so.
Yeah, because then you have to come in at the top of it, drive all the way down to the bottom to have access to the lake. So that's why are you saying that there probably won't be any development on the lake for a long time?
No, like probably, we'll revise the rest of the farm, we're
Okay.
hoping that somebody will just farm it, so it'll be their farm, you know?
Okay, so I don't think that changes nothing tonight anyways for the severance, and it meets all requirements.
Just for reference sake, it's about 4,300 feet from the road to the lot.
Oh, moly, okay,
Well, it's a broken full lot, so
yeah,
would the lot continue to, the other side? It was a full quarter lot.
okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the only, I'm just bringing up from the concerns from the other two property owners. I again say we spent money.
Yeah,
I went through this with my dad 7 years ago.
yeah,
There just is the concern, because it has happened in Manettville with another property owner, where that long roadway, well, someone made lots off of that
yeah,
with access to Mercer Lake.
okay,
So then you're gonna have more people. So, I mean, if they're saying, hey,
we'll have to deal with that if it comes. But tonight, we're just looking at a severance of the property. So we can't deal on all the what ifs that could happen. So, and having this size of property, I don't see any problems. Do any of my colleagues see any problems? Okay. So hearing that, I'll bring it to a vote. Is everybody in favor of the severance of the property? Yes. Okay, carried. Okay, ma'am.
Oh, no, just
We're
on
done.
record, that's all.
Okay.
Speaking for the others.
And Mrs. Mercer, you had requested to be notified, so you will receive a copy of the decision.
I'll pass that on then, thank you.
You're
Perfect,
welcome.
thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to, okay. So we'll move on to application C57/23, Jeffrey Lewington.
It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Jeffrey Lewington and Lewington Farms, Inc. for the creation of a new lot together with a right-of-way at 11003 Highway 64 in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved in the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the land registry office, that the taxes be paid to date, that the conditions be met on or before October 11th, 2025, transfer deed be submitted, that the clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drainage for the El Seguin drain and the Baudry Seguin drain, and that an entrance permit be obtained, confirmation that actually that doesn't need to be in there. That an access to both the severed and retained lands shall be by shared mutual access. 3, Mr. Chair, what is being proposed here is a severance. There is an existing dwelling on this property. The rest of this is farm property. And what is being proposed is to sever out the existing dwelling, however, to keep the existing driveway as access to both the severed and retained land. So what is being proposed is to sever this lot together with a right-of-way in favor of the farm over the entrance off of Highway 64. So, and there is an existing entrance off of Highway 64.
So the existing entrance, is it at the right of way?
Yes,
Okay.
Does not have an entrance permit. Right.
yeah, there probably was one entered. It's a residential permit, correct?
I checked with M2 Corridor and they responded to us. There is no entrance permit, so they need to acquire one. It's one of the comments back from M2.
Okay, so I will put that back in, the MTO, you need
Yeah,
to acquire
because-
an entrance permit.
Yeah, because when I read the MTO report, I thought it said that they didn't, just to be sure.
So your current driveway doesn't have any official status?
No, it doesn't have an existing entrance permit.
They just want to paper the,
They want-
so, yes, and they had asked in their comments, they have requested a copy of the survey document be sent to them prior to the registration, so we will comply with that.
You're right. It does say entrance permit required and easement.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And that's my fault, because in my brain, I was thinking it's an existing entrance, it must have a permit, but,
Okay, so that's one condition that'll stay on.
yep,
And you're okay with that, sir?
Yeah, so I'm Mike Simpson, I'm the landowner's agent.
Okay,
I also inquired with the corridor whether, because they had some terminology in there that the easement had to be centered on the lot. And I asked them if the existing entrance was okay, and they commented back that it was fine.
so they're content to issue the permit in the driveway where it lives.
Yeah, as long as they get a copy of the plan.
okay.
They'll show the entrance on there, so it makes sense, so.
What's farmed there?
I think it's just, hay.
Hey, okay.
Is rural zoning appropriate?
Yes.
Any more questions from our panel? You're okay, sir, with the, waiting for the entrance permit? Okay. I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. Thank you, sir. Move on to C 58/23, Armand and Zian Trepanier.
Okay, it is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Armand and Zian Trepanier for the creation of new lots on Highway 539 in the West Nipissing municipality is approved in the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited, confirmation that the property taxes be paid, conditions be met on or before October 11th, that a transfer deed be submitted, that an entrance permit be obtained from the MTO, and that these both severed lots 1 and 2 must be accessed by a mutual shared access. Through Mr. Chair, we received comments late in the week, last week, from the Ministry of Transportation. They are requiring that these properties be accessed by a mutual drive. They're as you can see, these properties, I don't know how you describe this, they're sort of sideways to provide. And perhaps Mr. Goodrich can explain
Yeah, because I see the Goodrich sign in the bottom.
the odd, perhaps he can speak to the odd configuration of the lots.
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Kathleen
please
doesn't-
explain what the,
Certainly, it was simply to provide both the severed lots frontage on the Sturgeon River. But you'll also see, just because of the way the land has been configured in the past, we have a little check kind of point there, a narrowing where the other corner is. So we've just made sure that gets split between the two of them.
No way to
At the
just
both
straighten
ends.
this line out.
What's that, sorry?
Can't just straighten this line out.
Good.
Potentially, maybe, but this is kind of
is
what
there
a
a
client.
reason why? Like, is there rock or something that would
Quite
cause that?
honestly, Don looked after this one. I was hoping he'd be back from the camp and we'd see him on screen with his usual
Okay.
smiling face, but,
Yeah.
But no.
Now,
this
if we look at the very top point of severed one, is that a driveway coming through, Paul?
There is an old right of way through that area, so I'm presuming that is where the driveway
Okay,
is. And so we will comply, of course, with the MTO's request as well. We'll set it up so there's a mutual driveway. If there is an existing driveway, it just makes sense to locate it there rather than building a new driveway.
of course.
I'm assuming anyone who builds on these lots is going to want to be a little closer to the river than they are to the highway.
Absolutely.
And so wherever the driveway is, we'll create a part for it. If it's wholly contained on one side, no big deal. Like Mike had said in the last one, MTO likes to see it split exactly on the line between the two. That's not always possible or practical. So wherever the driveway is, we'll make sure, or the best location for the driveway, if there isn't one existing now.
Okay. The pie shape on the other side of the river, That'll end up staying with the owner of the retained
It's all-
property?
Yeah, it's all part of the retained land. It's not
Sort of isolated, or does the owner or the retained owner own on the other side of the river? No? Okay.
No, well, he owns that little pie-shaped piece, but, so it is naturally severed.
Of course.
If he wishes to sell it, all he has to do is survey it and transfer it out.
To the abutting owner.
To
Go ahead, man.
I have some concerns with that because this lot is undersized. I would like to see it's only 0.5 of a hectare and it has no access.
Yep.
I would like to see my recommendation would be that it be tied, by way of a section 119 to the retained lands.
I would prefer not. 0.5 of a hectare is 1.25 acres. If somebody wants to develop it as a recreational residential property, they're going to have to come in and show where docking facilities would be so that they could access it by water. And they would have to do a minor, well, I don't even know if they would need a minor variance. We would only need a minor variance to create it at that size. But if God wants to come in and get a minor variance, since he put the river there,
Yeah.
it's up to him. Sorry.
You know what the depth of that lot is, Paul?
At this scale, sorry.
I just want to ensure that in the event that it becomes a standalone lot, that it's.
But yeah, you can see the frontage of each of the severed 1 and severed 2 on the highway is 61 meters. The water frontage on severed 1 is 101. Now, it's a little less than that, but
It's the depth in order to obtain, it's the depth in order to be able to achieve the 18-meter setback.
yeah, and as well your side yards from both of the other lines that are
Yeah,
involved. I don't think you'd have a problem accommodating that. It looks to me that the north boundary would be somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about 70 to 80 meters, which is roughly 250 feet, let's say.
Yeah.
18 meters is 60 feet, so we should be able to have adequate room. I believe your side yards out there are 3 meters or 6 meters?
yes, 4.5.
4 point, okay, halfway between. So 15 feet. will
Not a
split the
problem.
difference. I still think you'd get a building envelope and room for a septic on the far side away from the river from where you would have a cabin location. So to me, and at 0.57 of a hectare, actually, it's almost an acre and a half. So it's still not a insufficient sized property to build on. We're allowing new lots to be created on water that go down to 0.4 of a hectare if you do a minor variance. In this case, we're not seeking to create it. It's already there.
Okay, so my question was, it still remains a landlocked property that's still owned by the,
It's still owned by Diane and Armand.
okay, all right. And I don't know how that works for the municipality, but that wouldn't be an issue. I don't see it as an issue.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
it will, because it's going to be naturally severed, you're going to create a partner plan for it?
Only if they direct us to. So if someone came in and asked to purchase it, they would have to legally describe it
Yes.
by way of a reference plan of survey. At that time, we would know the exact size, we would know the exact size of the building envelope.
Correct.
And at that point, someone could then make a informed decision as to whether they wanted to buy it.
That could be done at that time.
Exactly,
Okay.
and if they can't find a suitable building envelope, then they simply just pass on it.
That's it.
Buy another lot. But usually you also, before a building permit would be issued, you'd also have to show where your docking
Correct.
facilities are and how you would access, where you would park your car and your trailer. How would you get your boat from the parking area to your lot?
Another question I have, Paul, is where you have the two properties coming narrow and then back to the waterfront. Is there enough room? What's the distance at the smallest point where the two, the narrowest point.
Looks
Like,
to me like.
obviously, there would probably just be a driveway going through there.
Yeah, it looks probably like 15 to 20 meters, 50 to 66 feet, just
Okay.
at this scale.
All right,
Most likely, if we have a shared entrance at the highway, I'm assuming they would, I'm assuming they would construct a driveway, more or less following the property line
yeah,
until they get down to where they each want to develop.
okay.
Because if they're going to share the costs of maintenance at the highway,
Center line,
it would just make sense to me that you would share a driveway with your neighbor,
Okay.
split the maintenance costs, and
okay.
then why it once you get to where you want to build.
So, are you, because this and I'll just through you, Mr. Chair, when this application came in, it came in without the anticipation of a right-of-way. We're including the right-of-way at this point because we know what's required by the MTO, so we might as well approve it while we're here.
Yeah.
However, would you want to, obviously, you're going to come back with whether or not it's going to include the whole shared drive or whether it's just going to be the entrance. You're going to consult with Mr. Trepanier?
Yeah, typically what we do, if we know ahead of time that a shared driveway is the preferred way of accessing the properties, we'll set it all up on the one survey. But if we don't know that, we typically just come in 50 to 100 feet off the highway and allow them to then Y off at that location and build their own driveways.
You can do whatever after.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in this case, unless Mr. Trepanier already knows where the driveway location is going to be, and if he's going to provide it as a selling feature, but if he's not, we'll simply get them just off the highway. And then the two new owners, if they want to collaborate, they'd have to come back before you to get a right-of-way,
Get it right away.
severance for
Yes.
the right-of-way.
We're good?
Good?
Any questions from our panel? All right, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried.
I apologize, I didn't raise my hand before speaking.
That's okay, we know your name.
It is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson for the consent application made by Randolph and Wendy Ackerland for the creation of a new lot at 510 Kipling East Road in the West Nipissing Municipality be approved in the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited, that property taxes be paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before October 11th, 2025, that a transfer deed be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer, that any, in the event that any portion of municipally maintained and traveled road located on the severed or retained lands, that 10 meters from center line be conveyed to the municipality at the owner's cost, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1), instruct the municipal engineers to apportion the assessment for the Bouchard drain. Through you, Mr. Chair, just by way of this, first of all, this is a resubmission of an application which was actually considered by the prior committee back in 2021. However, they did not get their survey documents prepared in time, and this is just a resubmission because under the Act, if you don't fulfill the conditions within the stipulated timeline, it's considered not to have been approved and you have to start from scratch. So that's what we're dealing with here. This property is located, so you can't really bring it down here so we can see a little bit better. So this is Kipling East Road. So coming from off of Highway 575, way over here, coming up Kipling East, and you would take a right at the intersection of Kipling East and where are we? Norland Road. So this little property up here is the cemetery.
I was gonna say
Sunny
the
Ridge-
cemetery
the Sunny
is
Ridge
close to
Cem-
that.
So it's right there, it's the Sunny Ridge, it wraps around the Sunny Ridge Cemetery, so just to
Okay,
get to visually
okay.
organize yourself.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So what is being proposed is to sever out a lot in the northwest corner of the property, which would basically, the property would have frontage only on Sunny Ridge Road. The retained lands all have frontage on Kipling East and on Sunny Ridge Road as well. And it would be wrapping around the cemetery property, and there's one other landowner there, so. This was previously approved by the prior committee of adjustment.
Okay.
Straightforward.
Straightforward. Obviously, the bottom section, the lower tooth there, that couldn't be severed off. It's too small to build or do anything with it. So it'd have to stay with the severed lands, right?
Well, the property goes actually all the way down, like
Oh,
you're
okay.
talking about here?
Okay, no, I
Yeah.
thought
It
because
is transected
because
by,
it's the red
Yes.
around the property is what it's being severed.
yes,
So they wouldn't be able to
no,
sever the bottom end here to create another lot.
no,
Is what
no.
I'm saying. Okay,
no, it doesn't have enough frontage.
okay,
So this lot will have frontage on both Sunny Ridge and Kipling East.
yes.
And the retained lands also front on both sides as well.
Okay. It's pretty rugged there also. Because the cemetery is,
I was there last week and it's good,
Yeah,
it's
for-
good for the hamstrings.
Yeah.
Trip up and down that hill a few times.
go up pretty quick. Any questions from our panel? We're just redoing what was done
Yeah.
2 years ago. Okay, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Okay, so this is where
Stephen.
things are gonna get a little confusing for the next three
Yes,
applications.
I wonder why there's three of them.
They're because there are different owners and in different parts of the same. So by way of an introduction, when Mr. Dutrzak in his lifetime, he had a number of houses on his properties that he rented out.
Mhm.
At the time of his death in around, I'm gonna say 2010 or 11, some of those were severed out because they were bequeathed in his will to the then tenants. And some of them have remained as rental properties by the beneficiary of the balance of the estate. So just, the first application is on Garden Village Road, but the
Yes.
property actually, you'll recall there was land taken out of it on Promenade du Lac a few years back.
Years ago.
This would be sort of the balance of the Garden Village Road end of the Dutrzak farm.
Which is all farmland in there,
Yeah, it's mostly hayfields.
hayfield, yeah.
So this application is proposing to sever two lots. You'll see there's an existing small lot here in the middle, and it is proposing to sever two lots, one on either side of this lot line. It's all one piece of property, but it has two pin numbers. And what's being proposed is to sever two lots, both of which have the more than the required frontage and lot area for the rural zone.
Oh, the one on the left, the severed coming out of.
Oh,
Westerly,
I'm fibbing.
We're a little short of the
That's
frontage
right.
there.
I do apologize. We actually have a concurrent minor variance for
That's a
that
minor
one.
variance I saw.
Yes, so
Okay,
I'm sorry.
because the minimum is 61.
That's
The
right.
minimum, yeah, is 60.
My eyesight is better.
We've got it at the rear, but because that little piece got taken out
Yeah.
Okay,
and we only had so much, we left 61.
With the
On the
retained
retained.
lands here. So there is actually a concurrent minor variance.
we'll do it at the same time.
You want to do it at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the minor.
To your knowledge, does severed one have a house on it? And severed two?
To be honest, I
Because
had,
there's a lot of,
well,
excuse my word, but crap there. There's a lot
yeah,
of
and,
barns and everything up on that road.
I apologize. I had thought the meeting started at 7:30. And at 6:30 in my office, I looked at the agenda and I saw the 7 o'clock because I was just in on Google Maps and Google Earth to go and look to see what was on each of these
Yeah,
properties,
I sure can.
figuring I still had extra time before leaving. And then I saw the 7 o'clock and I went, oh my God, did I screw up the time? So I
No, there was a
packed
typo
everything
on the
down,
face
threw
of
it in
the
truck,
agenda.
came zipping down the highway. So I'm sorry I haven't
The
had it.
agenda said 7.
Yeah, there
and
was a,
Circulation said 7:30.
Yeah, and I had 7:30 in my mind, which was correct. But then when I looked at the agenda and saw 7,
that was
it was
a,
the amended agenda, I said, oh my God, maybe they switched it to 7. And so,
But if there would be, if that line would be crossing an old barn or something, you would have noticed it
Yeah,
or marked it on the plan.
Yeah, and Dawn would have picked that up because we do that with Google Earth images now, when we do
Yeah.
these planning sketches. We'll bring in the satellite image into the AutoCAD drawing,
Yeah,
and it's not perfect, but it's close.
it's close.
And it saves having to go up and survey at first.
Okay,
So if there's an issue like that, and that's why, you know, sometimes when we do these applications, we have those crooked lines
yeah,
as they're going around something.
Stop.
okay.
But in this
I hit
case,
shut
I
down by
don't
mistake.
believe it was.
Fortunately, I had 11 windows open, so. I did, however, I think, kill my Zoom meeting. Are we still live? Nope, we're still live. so
We're
good.
live.
Okay, cancel that. I'm gonna bring up the image.
You guys have any
Sure.
questions while we're waiting?
No, not yet.
No?
Does this touch the next application?
They're all part of the same sort of property, but they're like, there's different owners and different legal descriptions.
6, 7, and 1.
6, 7, 8, and 1.
I think I might have killed this. Suppose we're still recording and we're still live.
Because on that cutout right in the center, between those two severed pieces, I believe there's a house there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it probably was sold out many years ago, whatever.
Yes.
So I know exactly where it is, so that's why, there's that house in between the fields there. So that would be that
That is on that piece of,
little piece in
and
the
I
center.
know there's a house there too, just from the
Yeah.
field notes that came in
Okay,
when we did the original survey.
okay.
Well, let's take a look and see what's going on. So this would be the little house.
Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna just share it up in a second. Right now, I'm trying to figure out whether or not our Zoom meeting is still on. It's recording. I don't see connection. Just gonna pull it up. Share the screen. I'm having trouble finding my Zoom meeting. This is the problem. Can't find the Zoom meeting. It disappeared.
Screen says you're still up. So.
I know, that's what I'm trying to ascertain as to where is my meeting gone. Bear with me for a second, because everybody else stayed in the meeting and I left.
Just waiting.
So I'm going to just share the screen. Sorry about that. And I'll drop that down. I'll take off the. So this is the property that we're talking about. For your, I'm going to, this here would be the small lot that the other two are wrapping around. Correct, Mr. Goodrich?
I believe so, yep.
So the new lots would be, I'm going to turn the parcel fabric on. It looks a little wonky.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like there is a house on the severed,
On the severed.
Severed
two.
two.
Severed two,
Yeah,
okay.
there's nothing, well, I'm not sure what this is.
Is this a shed or something?
Looks like a shed or a garage.
Yeah.
There looks to be a house on the severed two. There's a house on the little lot in the middle, and this one appears to be vacant.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Is there driveway access to that house on the retain?
Yes, well, this one has a driveway here,
There.
and this one has a driveway here.
Driveway, yeah. And the other one where the vehicle is.
Oh, yeah.
You can see a trailer.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side on Severed two. Okay, fine.
Okay, fine. So, and the concurrent minor variance, as was indicated by Mr. Goodrich, is because the severed one will only have 41 meters, 42 meters of frontage. 49 meters of
49
frontage.
instead of
49
61.
instead of 61, in order to leave the required 61 with the retained lands.
There's still lots of opening there in front.
Yeah, but like I say,
I
at
don't
the rear, once you get past that other lot, it widens out.
Whites out,
To be
yes.
the 61 meters.
And the other one actually narrows down at the bottom of the center property, so you have a little less there. But it's just for the, so what we're doing is we're severing 1 and 2, and then we're going at the minor variance to bring it from 61 to 49 on the
So-
one side.
I'll just quickly read the resolutions because I didn't. So this is the resolution for the severance. It is moved by Jonathan Sandford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. The consent application made by Michael Stevens for the creation of new lots on Garden Village Road is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited, that the taxes be paid, that the conditions be met on or before October 11th, 2025, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer, that any portion of the municipally maintained and traveled road be conveyed to the municipality, and the drainage assessment for the Onisford Marlow drain shall be assessed by way of a section 65. And the committee of this, the minor variance is to reduce the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application made by Michael Stevens to reduce the minimum lot frontage from 61 meters to 49.08 meters on severed one.
Straightforward. Any questions?
Because I know you would have looked into this. There's 5 different cutouts that were previously done from these 2 retained lots. None of these were the same owner.
Well, sort of, kind of. They were the predecessor owner who is now deceased. And some of them, like I said, some of them were because there was existing dwellings that were bequeathed in the will. This is kind of a strange property in that there were many houses on one lot, and the vast majority of these severances have been to take out existing houses to create lots for the existing houses, because there was
You built all over.
a lot of homes on these properties.
I knew it.
So, this is more of it's less of a new lot creation and more of a correction of
Trying to clean up,
existing,
Trying to clean up.
trying to,
Yeah.
create boundaries around. And some of them, in the past, some of them were tough because the houses were really close together. So, but these ones aren't bad for size, but other than the new lot, this other one is already just to separate an existing dwelling. And we have confirmed that the field bed and everything the field beds are separate and,
Within the property.
and in where they're, within the lines of where they're supposed to be.
And we'll make sure of it at final survey as well.
Any more questions? No, you're good? I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. And same with the minor variance?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to the other Mr. Stevens. The minor variance is done. So we're going to C61 on Canal Road.
We're just gonna go back to the other, Okay, so the next application. It is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Michael Stevens for the creation of a new lot on Canal Road in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved in the following conditions. The property taxes be paid to date, that conditions be met on or before October 11th, 2025, that a transfer be submitted to the municipality of West Nipissing, that any portion of municipally maintained traveled road be conveyed to the municipality, and the Onismore Marlow drain again on this property, and that the property zone be amended from tourist commercial to rural residential. This is a little bit weird, this one, so I can see that you're like, what the heck are they doing? I had the same thoughts myself. So I'm gonna, I don't know if I can zoom this in a little bit. This property is the canal.
Sure.
Yeah, oh, sugar. I'll dare to do that. Sorry, thank you, Roger.
Because I can see it.
I know you can see.
I can see what you're trying to.
You
do,
can see
but-
what I'm doing, but
You
not
know.
everybody can. Totally understand.
Mr. Dutra.
All this
built all these little houses along Canal, unreal. Those houses. Are you familiar with them? Have you been on Canal Road just between Nipissing and Dutrazak?
Yeah, like I've been down it, but I've never really paid attention.
You never
to
paid
the-
attention. And some of them are like 10 feet apart.
Oh, yeah.
But like, again, back then, the municipality, but that was in Springer.
Yep.
In Springer, there were, sure, go ahead. And he was a prominent
Yeah.
taxpayer.
Because a lot of
He owned
Yeah,
land all over.
and this one too is a little weird because this
Okay.
is the backside, this property is the Canal Road side of the Dutrazak cottages. So this is all one parcel. So down at the bottom here, there's a trailer park down here in this area.
Yes.
So this whole lot, even though this is mostly farmland, is actually zoned tourist commercial because it's all one property. So that is why one of the conditions of this is that the property needs to be rezoned because these residential lots are legal non-conforming in the tourist commercial zone, and we don't, they're none of them big enough. So what is being proposed here is a new lot, and again, these are to separate existing dwellings that are already there. And then the balance of this property here, because they don't really need as much as what's being proposed, is because this is essentially part of the farmland, is they're gonna take this L-shaped piece and add it back to the
Move it
farm.
back to the farm, yeah.
Because the house doesn't, there's a bigger view of it down here. So on the sketch, on the key map, Mr. Goulet has sketched in where the dwellings are sitting on these existing properties. So there's a dwelling and an outbuildings on this one, dwelling and an outbuildings on this one, and then this is going back onto the farm. So it'll stay with the retained lands. It's currently in a different parcel, all under the same ownership. So that's why we got to add back on. So this goes back to the farm, and these separate these two little houses. Again, we've verified that each of them have their own septic system.
So the zoning part of it though, so the new lots will be rural and then the rest remains tourist commercial? Okay.
Even though there's no active tourist operation on the property,
Okay.
until the owner comes forth and requests to, change the zoning to something else, it would retain its former,
Status,
its
yeah.
former status.
Yeah.
He has the whole thing up for sale and has for quite some time, so if somebody wants to come forward and make a tourist operation out of it again, at least the zoning is correct.
Yeah.
We only need the rezoning on the one piece because the one lot that's in a separate parcel currently has a rural residential zoning on it. So
Okay, so
it's.
Paul, parcel 622?
Parcel,
This one has. a
yeah,
residential.
parcel 6182.
Okay, it's already residential.
It's already rural residential.
Okay.
It's this one over here.
Yeah, but the other one,
One
the
on the-
Severs
on the-
one, is
Okay.
in the tourist commercial, so
Okay.
that we need to clean up and rezone it to a
Okay,
rural residential zone.
not a problem. Straightforward? All right, any questions? All right, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried.
And
That's second,
onward to part 3 of the same sort of.
Can we finish this one here?
Yeah, I'm just missing one. What the heck? What is this third one? Actually, we've already dealt with the next one. These two were basically, because we had two different applications, because on this one, this part of the property is registered in Edgar Dutrezat Cottages,
Okay.
and this part of the property is registered in Michael Stevens, who was the executor of the estate and
Yes.
beneficiary. So we just dealt with C62 and C61.
Okay, which
Because-
is the same property.
No, because this piece here, you'll see this one here has
Yeah.
its own PIN number.
Okay,
This one was transferred into Mr. Stevens' name,
okay,
okay? This one, because it's part of the tourist commercial operation, was still in the name of Edgar Dutrezat Cottages.
okay,
So we actually just dealt with both of those files in one.
okay, let's go. Let's go with it. So I carried that one. which
Okay,
is the
and so
C61.
C61 is for this lot here and this
Ah.
lot addition,
Okay,
and C62 is for this lot here.
I see it, but they don't.
I'm sorry, guys,
I
I'm
got
gonna
this
do,
thing, share the screen.
sorry.
Does it look like,
A big question mark.
yeah.
I'll be fine.
We get it, it's okay.
I'm getting old.
Now re-explain it quickly.
I will re-explain it quickly,
So
so.
make sure they're on the same page.
Yes, indeed. So rub current slide, and then I can blow it up.
But they'll see it from there. Just show
Yeah.
your arrow.
So my arrow, so this little lot here, this is coming off of this big piece back here, which is in the name of Edgar Dutrezat Cottages. This piece here, which is the new lot and the lot addition, had already been transferred from the estate into the executor's name, Mr. Stevens. So this one, so that's why they're in two different applications,
Okay.
but on the same sketch.
It's the same.
Yes, same.
Okay.
And I
Right.
believe Michael Stevens is also the beneficiary of Edgar Dutrezat Cottage.
He is indeed,
So
Correct.
it's all Mike Stevens.
It's all Mike Stevens' property.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay,
those
so
are,
those two are carried.
yes,
And we have one minor variance left.
yes.
Macayet
Oui.
and Ameri Gravel.
So this property, we're going to go out to Crystal Falls now.
Going to Crystal.
We're going to Crystal Falls. Okay, so what is being proposed here? Mr. Ayotte is wanting to turn his existing deck into a closed-in porch.
Okay.
So the deck, of course, is permitted to encroach into the front yard setback, but once you put walls around it, it then becomes
Well,
part of the dwelling. And it will bring the front face of the dwelling closer to the water than the 18 meters. So he needs to go from 18 meters, which is the required setback, to 16 meters in order to close in his porch. So
What's
that's,
this application for?
we've seen some like this before, but not this one. Different property, same premise.
issue though.
It happens with people who have, decks, but once you close in, that now becomes your front wall, and if your deck was into the front yard setback, then you
Yeah.
need a minor variance.
Gotcha.
It's deck's only 6 feet.
Yep,
Yes.
well, let me stop here. Let's see what he's
We don't have a layout of the property.
We do, actually. I have it here. So he is, so what he has, and you can just pass that down. So he's got an existing two-story, single detached family cottage. He has an existing porch. He's adding on, he's basically closing in. So the portion of the porch, he's got porch and then he's gonna have more porch.
Okay, so this is the house. This is his porch. This is his existing deck, but he's just adding to it?
He's gonna close in the existing deck.
Okay, so he's closing all of this in. And that's why he's too close then to the water.
The deck is, at that point, it's only 6 feet, but you'll see it's a wraparound, so there's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 feet.
More deck on the
That's
other
what you
side.
saw, right?
Yeah.
6 feet, so but it goes, it's a wrapper.
So now I'm not sure how detrimental this is to the application, but is the the variance from 18 meters to 16 meters at this point or this point? Because this looks closer.
which,
Is this point or this point, the closest?
it's at this point.
So should the variance
This one
be,
curves,
But
though.
we don't know if this is accurate.
Well, exactly, and it's, the lake is an ambulatory boundary, that is what he applied for.
it's pretty inconsequential either way, right? Okay, very good.
So, how much difference, like,
2 meters.
oh,
Right.
2 meters?
But you're
okay.
going from 18 to 16.
So
Okay,
from
so
60
he's
feet
asking
to,
Yeah.
from 60 feet to
Yeah.
52,
Yeah.
something like 53 feet,
Okay.
something
like that.
No problem? I see no problem either. I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried.
This brings us to the end of the
And
meeting.
to the adjournment.
Yes, so I'll make the same announcement that I had made at the prior meeting. For anyone who's interested, we are undertaking public consultation for short-term rental accommodations in West Nipissing. In order, we're considering a new bylaw to regulate them. There's a
Short-term means Airbnb.
like Airbnbs. So there is a draft bylaw on our website and there's a portal for comments. For anyone who has comments or concerns or questions. In addition, there will be a public meeting a week from Thursday from 6 to 7:30 here in this room for anyone who wants to come and ask questions about the proposed bylaw. Like I said, a draft of it is posted on the website, so there's, all of the details. It's kind of a two-pronged approach where it's going to be a zoning amendment and it'll also be a licensing. So it'll be your property, there'll be the zoning amendments to include the new definitions. It wouldn't necessarily be a special zone for Airbnbs, but there would be certain zones in which is permitted or not permitted. Yeah, as well as it's broken down into 2 different categories, which would be your owner occupied, meaning you live there part of the year, you rent it out, and then your full-time short-term rental where you purchase the property specifically for that purpose. So
I know there's a whole thing for this, sorry, but it sparked my interest. Where does enforcement lie there?
enforcement lies with the municipality.
The bylaw officer?
Yep,
That one guy?
No.
that's a whole other conversation to be revisited.
Okay.
Poor guy who
Okay.
you have to do everything.
If everybody does what they're supposed to, there should be no need to.
Exactly, yeah, no, yeah, no kidding.
So-
That would be October 19th,
Okay.
Yeah,
from 6 to 7, eh?
Yes.
7-ish.
yes. So it is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on October the 10th, 2023 be adjourned to November the 14th.
November 14th. All in favor? Carried.